Hello. Yeah, so if you are that nurse that is tired of getting very little money to manage your household, to manage your home, this is a video for you. Please stay tuned and watch right to the end so that you get all the information that you need about nurses' salary in the United States. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Martha. You are welcome. Yeah, so for all those that are new here, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. Yeah, so this channel was pretty much about for people that really needed information on how to relocate to the US as US RNs, as US nurses. Yeah, so this channel was basically created for just that. Yeah, so I am here to help you, give you information on how to relocate. The process, you can either use the agency or you can actually just do it yourself. Yeah, so this is the reason why this channel was particularly created, for just that purpose. Today I just wanted to talk about nurses' salaries, because people ask how much do you get, what, and all that. So I just wanted to concentrate on that and how we get to manage with other bills as well. So I wanted to talk about that so that you have an idea of a nurse's salary here in the United States, so that at least you can make an informed decision. Yeah, so coming from Zambia, I was getting 6,000 Zambian kwacha, which is equivalent to $337.33 monthly. I was salaried, so I was getting every month 337 bucks. Let's pause. Yeah, that was me like 4 years and some months ago. That was me. Yeah, so I was managing on that. I know people are going to say cost of living, blah blah blah, and all that. Yeah, I understand, but with that amount of money, I could not vacation. I could not afford it. Okay, I could not do so many things that I wanted to do because I was just in survival mode. Okay, just survival mode. Before that money hits the account, it is finished. It is gone. So I needed to do something about it. I was just so tired of just hand to mouth. The money hits the account, it's finished before you can actually even do anything. You just paid just the basics. It's just buying basic stuff, just buying basic food. You're done. And you need to work so hard and leave money for transportation to get you to work, because if you finish everything again, you won't be able to go to work. Yeah, so that is partly why I left, to come here and look for greener pasture, of course, the American dream as they call it. And that's how I found myself here. Yeah, so nurses' salaries here in the United States will vary from place to place. There are 50 states in the United States. Each state has its own cost of living. It has its own tax rules, so your pay is going to depend on just that. All right, your pay will depend on your education, your pay will depend on your experience, your location, and also the hospital you choose to work at. Okay, so your pay is going to depend on all those things when you come here. Yeah, so we have LPNs, those are licensed practical nurses, or rather LVNs, yeah, and then we have RNs. Okay, RNs here are on different levels. We have RNs with associate's degrees, we have RNs with diplomas, and then we have RNs with BSN. Okay, and then from there you can take it up a notch and talk about the master's degree level, and then the DNPs, and then the CRNPs, and then the PhD holders, and all. But of course, your level of education is gonna matter as well with how much money you're getting. And then there's this other aspect also, the travel nurses. I'll just put them on the other side. All right, because the money that they make is also just in a different sphere, I would say. Yes, yeah, but let's just talk about you as a nurse here in the United States. You come in as a nurse. Okay, of course, if you're going to use urgency, it's going to be different, and if you're going to use direct hire, it's also going to be different. Yes, yeah, but your pay, let me just put this, your pay will range from about 50,000. It can go up to about $300,000 annually, as in the entire year. Okay, from 50,000 to about 300. And hold up, I'm going to explain. Okay, I'm going to explain, so don't misquote me. Yeah, so it will range from 50,000 to about 300,000, even more if you want, depending on where you are. Just like, because I gave you a list All right. Yeah. So you're a nurse that has come in. You can either be, when we come in as nurses, as internationally educated nurses, we come in as, we just a point of entry. Okay. You're going to be paid pretty much like a new grad. All right. That experience that you had from home, they barely count it. Yeah. So when you come in, I came in, I was getting $28 per hour. I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was getting $28 an hour. Okay. That $28 an hour I would do 36 hours a week. Let's talk about the first 6 weeks of orientation. I was getting $28 an hour every Friday, and I would get the money that would hit my account would be like $700. Okay, so I would get $700 if I work 36 hours. But of course, I used to pick up extra shifts. Yeah, so if I work four days, if I work 5 days, if I work 6 days, it would actually vary. Yeah, the most I would get for 6 days would be 1,500 weekly. With that, yeah, that is after all the deductions and everything else. If I work 6 days, the amount that would get into my account would be $1,500. Yes, that is on a weekly basis. Okay, so that was when I just came in. And then I finished my contract in 2020, right at the peak of COVID. Okay, I finished, and then I decided to do local travel assignment. With my local travel assignment, I would get a stipend. All right, a stipend is non-taxed, and then I'd also get an hourly rate. So I would I used to get about $2,500 weekly at that time. Yeah, that would be the money that would actually hit my account. Yeah, so 2,500 on a weekly basis for local travel assignment. I did that for for a year plus, up until I got pregnant, and then I just found a pediatric job that I would work, and then that PRN job paid me $49 an hour. Yeah, I would get $49 an hour for that job. Yeah, so, and then that was just the best. And then of course you have to consider things like the shift differentials. All right, so here if you do nights, you're going to get night shift differential, and then you also get what they call a weekend shift differential. So if you work weekends, starting Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, you get extra money for that. It's just a way of motivating you to work, because people don't want to do weekends, right? People want to go to church, want to do stuff. So that's just some kind of motivation, because it's hard to work weekends. Yeah, so you want to be home with families and all that. So there's that weekend shift differential that they actually pay just to motivate you, and then also night shift differential that they pay. So the time I stopped traveling, I did that pediatric job. I was getting $49 as a best, and then an extra $5 for night shift, and then an extra $10 an hour for weekend shift. So it was 49 plus 5 plus 10. So it actually adds up. All right, and that becomes now your rate for that weekend if you work weekends. Yeah, so all that actually just adds up. All right, yeah, so let me not digress a little bit. So we're talking about the salaries, right? Yeah, so nurses, of course, like I said, we are on different levels. So a nurse with a diploma, an associate's degree, and a nurse with a bachelor's degree might have a few differences. I mean, a bit of a difference, but the difference is pretty much minimal, I'd say, between, because RNs with associates and diploma pretty much, I would say, pretty much on the same level. Yeah, and then with a BSN, of course, it's kind of better. Yeah, and then most magnet hospitals here would actually require you to have a bachelor's degree. Yes, so on that level, I'll say diploma holder, associate's degree, and the BSN, the difference is pretty much minimal, if there is actually. Yeah, but I've noticed that what really helps out is if you have extra certifications. Let's say I'm in MedSage, and then I do like MedSage certification, I would actually get a little bit more for that, because it will count. Yeah, so let me not digress. Of course, like I said, your pay is going to depend, of course, on your location, your experience, your education, yeah, and also the facility where you're working from. Yeah, some facilities actually pay better, because here where I am, I'm in the Triangle area. I've got Duke, I've got WorkMed, and I've also got which other hospital? UNC. So all these hospitals actually, they are big hospitals and all that, but also the pay is also different. Yeah, they are big hospitals, but the pay is also different across the board. They are all here in North Carolina, but the pay is also different. So the facilities that you choose to go to will also matter, because some facilities pay better, others don't. And then you also have to look at the benefits as well. What kind of benefits do they offer? All right. UNC is a state hospital, so meaning that the benefits are also great. Okay, so when you look at UNC, you look at also the kind of benefits that they offer, your 401k, your health insurance. You also have to look at all that as you also look for a job. Yeah, but when you come in, of course, as agency or whatever, as an international educated nurse, usually most agencies have their own facilities that they are affiliated with, where they're going to take you. Yeah, and most of these hospitals, of course, are not state hospitals. Yeah, so you'll be there for that amount of time that actually you owe your agency. I had 4,160 hours with O'Grady Pager, so that was equivalent to about 2 years on St. Man's. So I finished that within 2 years. So because I worked extra, and that extra also actually counted, and it actually helped out a lot. Yeah, so once you leave and finish your contract, you are free to actually go out there and look for other jobs that are going to offer you better pay. Okay, yeah, so when you look at location, what do I mean when I say location? Places like California, places like New York, they pay a lot of money, pretty much because the cost of living is on the higher side. Yeah, I have a friend that is getting about $114 an hour. Okay, here in North Carolina, the most that you can get is about $40-50 an hour. Yeah, so if you land in California, you're gonna be paid high because the cost of living in California is also high. Yeah, the cost of a 1-bedroom apartment in California cannot be compared to the cost of living of a 1-bedroom apartment here in North Carolina. So you look at that as well. Yeah, but at some point it has to balance. Yeah, so your pay is also going to base on that. And then experience also plays a bit of a role. A new grad, of course, cannot be at the same level with a nurse that has worked for 15 years. Yeah, so also experience is gonna count, all right, towards your pay. So all that actually just adds up. Yes, so our pay, like I said, will range from about $50,000 to about $300,000, depending on where you are in that range. Okay, we have LPNs. All right, LPNs can get as low as $40,000, and then they can also get as high as $60,000, and $60,000 annually. And then we have RNs that can get as low as $50,000 to as high as $300,000, depending on where you are. I'm going to explain that just now. Okay, so of course, like I said, all those factors that will affect your pay. All right, we have the highest at the top of the rank. We have CRNAs. All right, CRNAs get as high as $250,000. Also can get as high as $300,000. That's why I gave you that range. All right, so depending on where you are on that level, you're gonna get that much money. Okay, so more education for you and better pay as well. Okay, so for RNs, all right, for RNs, our pay here in North Carolina is like $35 or more. All right, yeah, so you have to also learn to negotiate your pay as well. Yes, and then you have a nurse in New York that is probably getting $50-60 an hour because they're in a high cost high cost state. All right, and then when you go to a place like Texas, all right, Texas as well Texas has no state tax. Yeah, so also that also adds up as well. So like I said, you have all these factors that are gonna affect your pay here in the United States. All right, tax is also another thing, because we are also taxed heavily. The more money you make, the more you're taxed. So depending on how much money, a person in the 50,000 bracket cannot be taxed the same as a person in the 300,000 bracket. So also the taxes will also affect your pay as well. Yeah, so you also have to look at all those factors. Yeah, so like I said, it's $50,000 to about $300,000. Yeah, but most of us RNs with no master's degree, we are usually within the range of 50 to about 120,000, at least for staff pay. All right, we range from about 50,000 to about $120,000. Yeah, depending on what state you're working in. And then for those with master's degrees, the pay actually goes up a little bit. It can start from about 90,000 to about, you know, as high as 300,000. There's a guy on TikTok who's a CRNA that shares, you know, how much money makes. And then just recently, a video that I watched of him, he was sharing how he's making about $250 an hour. Okay, his agency, he's getting $250 an hour for most of his gigs, and he only does 3 days a week, and that's enough. Okay, so that's how come I'm putting it at 300,000. I know people are going to say 300,000. Which nurse gets that much? They are there. All right, and then there are other specialties as well that are well appreciated here, like aesthetic nurses. Here, aesthetic nurses make a lot of money because everybody wants to look beautiful, so they are also marketable. So if you get a gig in that area, you're gonna get money as well. So depending on where you are, what specialty you have, it's gonna range. Okay, it's gonna it's gonna add up as well, like I said. So we have nurses, of course, ER nurses, we have medical surgical nurses, we got ICU nurses, we got oncology nurses, we have outpatient, ambulatory. There's a lot that you can do with your RN here. Okay, labor and delivery, there's just a lot. So as well, your specialty also will have its own pay. Like I work in MedSurg, all right? So when you have assignments, the MedSurg assignments are lower than, of course, the ICU assignments. Yeah, sometimes the difference cannot really be much, but it adds up. Yeah, so of course, a person that works in cath lab has a higher pay than a person that works in MedSurg. So also your specialty as well also adds. So education is also a factor. Yeah, what kind of certifications do you have? That is also going to affect your pay. Okay, so basically that's just about it. So when you look at your nurses salaries here in the United States, it actually it's a big you know, it's a big topic. It's a big thing because a lot of factors actually get to. Yeah, that's the reason why I just gave you a range, that it will range from 50,000 to about 300,000 depending on where you are. Okay, on the graph, depending on where you are on that graph. Yeah, so CRNAs get as much as that. They can get as much as 300,000. All right, and then you have PhD holders. Those are teaching schools, of course, are gonna have their own, you know, yearly pay, of course, and most of them are actually salaried, you know. And then, of course, you have the nurse practitioners. All right, nurse practitioners, depending on the specialty that you have, like mental health pays well. You know, we have nurse practitioners making as much as 200,000 in mental health. Yeah, there's a nurse actually on TikTok as well that shares how much she gets. All right, and she works from home. She only does teleworking, so she gets over $200,000 a year for her nurse practitioner thing. And she gets to do mental health. Yeah, so we have nurse practitioners, you have case managers, you know, you have what else? Legal nurse consultants. You know, there's so much that you can do with also your master's level. You can actually work in administration. We have clinical specialists. So depending on where you are on that level, you can actually get that much money. Yeah, so here the world is big and large, and that's the reason why I'll say I shared a short the other day to say there's no reason for you to be burnt out, because here nursing is diverse. You can just say, okay, I'm tired, I'm burnt out with MedSurg, let me try something new. You probably try out, you know, you can try pediatric nursing, you can try ICU, you can try PQ, you can try a lot of things and just see what actually works for you, because I'm sure there's something that will actually work for you. You can move away from the bedside as well and do something else. So your pay will also vary on all those factors. I don't know if I'm actually helping or pretty much letting you understand. Yeah, I'm just gonna put, you know, I'll actually put everything here so that you actually just see the ranges. All right, so of course the range of pay will also depend on all those factors that I just mentioned. Yeah, so I hope I'm answering, you know, some of those questions that you're actually. Yeah, so I came in as a nurse with an agency. Of course, I was getting $28 an hour. Weekly I would get about 700 for 3 shifts, and then if I do 4 shifts, of course it would be like 1,000. If I do 4, it would be like, I mean, if I do 5, it would be like, yeah, but the most I would do is 6. Sometimes when I have the strength, I'll do 6 shifts and it'd be like $1,500, $1,600 weekly. Yeah, and then I finished, and then I shared how much I made as a local travel on local travel assignment. Yeah, so that's how much money I was actually making. And then let me just mention also about travel nurses. You know, when COVID hit, the market just blew up. Of course, we had a lot of people nurses that died because of COVID, and then of course people were just burnt out a lot, actually left the bedside and all that. Yeah, so there was a demand for nurses, and that demand for nurses actually raised a lot of pay at that time. So nowadays when you actually look at the internet, you will say, oh, COVID rates and all that. Yeah, but with travel nursing, when you finish your contract with your agency, you can actually explore travel nursing if you have it in you. So what are travel nurses actually basically just travel to different states. You can actually, like I said, local, I was within North Carolina. Yeah, I was within North Carolina. I worked within North Carolina, and then you can actually travel out of state to other facilities to work as a nurse. Yeah, it's just that the pay is better, and then you're also taxed differently. They give you an extra, they give you extra money, stipends, of course, for your accommodation, for food, and all that. That stipend is actually non-tax. All right, it's non-tax if you're out of state or whatever. Yeah, so it actually adds up. And then a lot of these travel agencies actually pay good money. All right, you're leaving your home, you're going outside your state to work and serve, in another state. So you are paid. You're well compensated. Yeah, so with travel nursing, you also have to plan properly for your retirement, because most of these agencies don't offer retirement packages. So you have to plan properly, and they also don't offer, some offer health insurance, others don't. So you also have to plan outside. You have to have your own arrangement for health insurance, your own arrangement for your retirement package planning. Yeah, so you get a lot of money, but then again, you probably need a financial advisor to help you plan properly for your money. Yeah, they are usually paid weekly, and usually the rates are, yeah, you can get the time we had COVID, people were getting as much as $10,000 a week. You can imagine that. Yep, $10,000 a week. Right now, the rates have actually gone down, pretty much because COVID was pretty much termed. So a lot of assignments that I've seen right now are pretty much ranging from about 1,800 to about $5,000 a week right now. Yeah, depending on where you are, like I said. Yeah, so of course, like I said, your salary is gonna depend on location, education, experience, and the facility where you are. So all that is going to affect how much money, all right, you're going to get. I hope I'm helping. I don't know. I hope I'm helping. Yeah. So what are some of the bills that you have to worry about? There are so many things that we pay for here. Okay. So of course, rent. All right. That rent has a renter's insurance. There's no renter's insurance where I come from. Nobody pays that. Yeah, so you have renter's insurance. Okay, of course you have to do logistics, electricity, water. Okay, there's also waste disposal. Okay, and then now you talk about your phone. Usually our phones are prepaid. Your phone bill, your Wi-Fi, if you're gonna pay cable or you're gonna do streaming like Hulu and Netflix. Okay, and then we have cars. Here, most cars, most of these agencies would actually prefer that you get a new car. Yeah, so you have a car note, and then you have auto insurance that you have to pay, and then also food. You gotta eat. All right, so I was paid weekly, so we did our shopping on a weekly basis. Yeah, so you have to plan around that. Yeah, now with all this going on, we have recession going on, we have all this inflation stuff, blah blah blah. The cost of living has actually gone up a little bit. So of course, things are a bit expensive right now, but still manageable. Yeah, so I hope I've answered some of your questions. Yeah, I hope I've actually touched what I needed to touch. Yeah, and I hope that this just helps out a little bit. I hope this actually just helps you understand what nursing is like here. I would actually say that the pay is good. It's good money. Yeah, nurses here are decently paid. Yeah, so that is what I just wanted to mention, that of course your pay is going to depend on those factors that I listed. So I hope that you can make an informed decision based on what I just talked about. Yeah, but thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your love. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you for watching this video right to the end. Have a good one. Bye.